Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next edition of Saturday Chat Live here on August 6th, 2022. So glad some of you could stop by for the live stream here on this Saturday. So it's good to see you. Please let me know in the chat where you're watching from. I always like to know where everyone is watching from, of course. Gives me a sense of my audience across the globe and helps me time things and stuff like that. So let me know where you're watching from. So what is going on? What is new? If you're new to the channel, if you're new to the stream, just keep in mind that I try to keep these to around half an hour. Sometimes they go to an hour. Depends on how good the conversation goes and what y'all want to talk about and what I can answer. I do my best to answer your questions extemporaneously in real time, but I don't have everything in the front of my head all the time. So if I cannot answer your question during the stream, I apologize. I do my very best. The best place to reach me is probably on LinkedIn if you have a question after the stream, and then we can, talk further about whatever topic you might want to discuss, or I can do some research to maybe answer the question that you posed that I could not answer sort of here in real time. So yeah, I'll do the best I can, and we will go from there. So what is new with the channel? First, before I get to that, I want to see who's in the chat here. So what do we got? Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, is that like parasailing? That looks pretty cool in that little thumbnail there. That's something I would do, actually. So why not? Lover from India. Well, thank you so much. It's good to see you. Trust me, I love you all just as much. I will never take for granted the audience I have in India. And I love you all very much, and I hope to maybe get there, someday when things are somewhat back to normal. So very happy to have you. Thank you. Hope you recovered soon. Yes, so if you all didn't know, about a month ago, I got COVID really bad, and struggled through a live stream 4 weeks ago, but managed to go through. I'm back to normal now. Everything is, luckily, I didn't have any serious issues, just some, discomfort for about a week. And I feel really good, actually, after COVID, which was really weird. But thank you for asking. I'm better, and I hope any of you that have been affected by this or continue to be affected by this, or you or your loved ones are affected by this, that you all are well and get better. And we all just kind of get through the best we can. It's one of those situations that it's never going to go away. So we just do, what we can. But it was very, very uncomfortable, to say the least, for about a week. All right. So what else we got here? Professor Marshmallow. Good to see you. I love marshmallows. Very delicious, and my hot chocolate especially. But it could be your actual name. So if it is, I apologize. I didn't mean to make a joke out of your name. So Professor Marshmallow, just completed your ANOVA playlist, the analysis of variance. It was awesome. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you found the playlist very helpful. ANOVA is a very complicated thing. It kind of gets into design of experiments. There are all kinds of cool stuff you can do with ANOVA. It can get very complex, especially when you deal with a lot of interaction terms. So I try to break it down as simply as possible, especially for like students. If you're studying ANOVA in like an intro stats class or a business stats class, you're only going to go so far into the analysis of variance. I try to make it sort of at that level so you can understand the concepts, do the work, and get through your class. So I'm glad you found it helpful. So we got from Turkey. Excellent. Excuse me. Excuse me. Glad you can stop by. Shriyak, hope I'm saying that correctly. I do try to pronounce everyone's names correctly. Everyone deserves that. However, I'm not familiar with certain names, so if I pronounce it incorrectly, I do apologize. You can correct me in the chat, and I will try to do the better next time. So, Shriyak says, your videos actually helped me understanding stats. Excellent. I found statistics difficult, though I could never thought I could never understand, but your videos really helped me. Now I'm an assistant professor. Fantastic. Excellent. So welcome to the club. As you can see right here. Shout out to all those that go into education. It's a tough business, especially nowadays. So any of you that decide to go into teaching, whether formally or informally, kudos to you. That's fantastic. So I'm very glad you found the videos helpful and they have sort of helped you along your journey. That's sort of my guiding mission. My life and your life or lives are long journeys, and we pass people along the way. And, sometimes we need a little help crossing a bridge, and someone like me, or you can be that person to someone else, kind of helps them cross that obstacle, and then they go on their way. And that's kind of how I see, me and my channel. So I'm glad that you were able to get some help from the channel, and you have gone on to bigger and better things, Shriyak. So I'm very, very happy for you, and I'm very proud of you, by the way. So I know we don't know each other, but I am very proud that you have continued on in your work and everything. So, excuse me, that is fantastic. All right, keep the chat coming. If you just popped in, let me know where you're watching from. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and put those in the chat, and I will kind of put those up on screen as we go. I'll do my best to answer them, and then we'll just kind of see where we end up on this live stream Saturday. So, a couple of things. Got my stuff here on my desk. So, if you are not aware, a few things. Let me pull this up first. So, obviously, if you're here, I'm sure you have been to the channel and everything. We just crossed 267,000 subscribers. That's not why I do YouTube at all. I do it to help people. I'm just there to help people. But I am very proud of the channel's growth, and looking forward to getting up to 300,000, only because that means I'm helping more people. So for me, the sub numbers and the view counts are just a measure of how many people I am able to hopefully help, and that's what they mean to me. I don't do it to be famous at all. I don't want to be famous, to be honest with you. I like living in quiet and peace and comfort and just doing my thing. So I don't do it for that, but I'm happy with the channel's success. It means I get to help people through their journeys, and that's what it means to me. So thank you for all your support. Also, a reminder that here on my website, you can find all the additional things if you need them. So if you go to, let's see, YouTube here, you can find a basic playlist, table of contents. If you go to Statistics 101, you can find more information on each statistics playlist. So if you scroll down, you can read about the playlist. And then if you hover over it, it'll tell you exactly how many videos are in that playlist, how long the entire playlist is, so you can plan your time if you're going to watch the entire playlist over several sittings, and about on average, how many minutes each video is. So this is a good place to go right to playlists, and you know exactly what you're going to learn, and you know exactly how long it's going to take. So those are all here on my website. Also, if you're interested in the PDFs that I offer, for sale. You can find those here. Those obviously, that helps support the channel. So you get all the, we can make this, there we go. So you get all the slides, you get the link and a transcript to where you are in that video. So if I were to click this link, it'll take me right to 5 minutes, 47 seconds in this video, and it will start right here at the word. So the first thing we're going to do is, and here's the slide. So each one of these are, hundreds of pages long and has everything in there. You can take notes, a little notes section along the side. And again, these are just for the 4 most popular playlists on my channel. I might do some more in the future, it just depends. But the popularity of certain playlists on my channel is sort of a power curve, with regression and stuff being the most popular, legit, and then confidence interval, stuff like that. So it's only for 4 playlists, but those are by far my most watched playlists. So you can find those here if you are so inclined. Each one is $20, and again, it's hundreds of pages, 254 pages, 358 pages. They are ginormous PDFs. And it helps me, it helps the channel, and of course helps you. So consider those. Also, if you need to find any data file for a video that I've done, you can find that here. So these are the downloads where you can download the Excel sheet in most cases and follow along if you so choose. So some stuff there. I hope to add to that. Hope to add to my website over time, but the basic things are there now for you to kind of navigate the videos and the playlists and the supporting materials if you need them. All right. So let me put this back up here. Oh, I'll do this while I'm up. So this, if you do not know, I also am starting a new series on a completely different topic. So luckily, I've been lucky enough to get a sponsor coming up, which I'll talk more about here in a second. So that's allowed me to do some more videos. But the new content will actually be on time series. So I've already got, I think, 7 videos ready to record with more on the way. I'll probably be releasing those later this month. Kind of when the school year starts is the best time to release educational content. I do want to put some updates in them. Change a few things in them that are related to some new research I've done. I think I can explain maybe a bit better for you. So I'm going to kind of tidy those up, get those recorded, and start releasing those probably at the end of this month. And I will be doing those sort of indefinitely. So I've been learning a lot of the R packages for forecasting. So FPP3, Model Time, and Profit are some of the packages that I've been learning about in R and doing some work with. So I'll probably have some R content, some basic R content there as well over the course of the playlist or over the course of the series. And I won't be covering just quantitative time series. So many people think that time series analysis, time series concepts are just the quantitative, but it's not. Actually, in practice, a lot of time series and forecasting is done with judgment. Via expertise, Delphi method, surveys, or something like that. So we'll cover all that, not just the quantitative stuff, but of course, a lot of the quantitative stuff will be things you're interested in for your classes or whatever else you're learning. So look out for that new content coming up in the next few weeks to a month, and I'm going to get that out to you. So I've been lucky enough to work with statistics.com to bring some new content. They're going to sponsor some live streams and some videos coming up. And I'll talk more about statistics.com as we go over the next several weeks and months. But it's going to be awesome to have them. On that note, go back to me here. Mark your calendar on September 24th. So Saturday, September 24th. Repeat after me. September 24th. We're going to have some authors on the live stream where I'll talk to them and you can ask them questions. So we're going to have on the live stream, Grant Fleming and Peter Bruce. So they are the authors of this text on responsible data science. They also, Grant teaches the course Responsible Data Science on statistics.com. And we're going to have them on to talk about their work. And you can ask them questions. So they're the author of that book. And of course, Peter is part of the author team on this text. So you can obviously ask Peter questions about this text as well. And they have other books as well. So they are part of the statistics.com team. So they're going to come on September 24th to join the live stream and have a discussion, and you can ask them questions about their work and what they write about and any, data science type topics. So it's going to be awesome. I'm really, really looking forward to having them on September 24th. All right. Okay, all the news out of the way. Go back to the chat here. Let's see here. So, Shriyak says, correct pronunciation of my name. Good. From India. One request, please try to give some management examples. So, Shriyak, what I try to do is, as you know probably, is put every statistics concept in some sort of business context. That's not always possible, but I do my best to really look at statistics through business statistics and make it at least as practical as I can at that level, given the topic. So I do try to put it in a business context wherever possible. Management, if you have like something specific, some specific idea you might have about a management example, please put it in the chat. I can jot it down on my little thing I take my notes on here. And I can maybe try to work some stuff into the videos based on what you consider a management example. So, yeah, so yeah, just give me some more information, but I do my best to make, business examples. So, all right. Nate says, hey, Brandon, watching from Atlanta. Good to have you on, Nate. Excellent. Hot Atlanta. All right. Professor Marshmallow says, what are your views on ed tech companies like Chegg? Well, I work for an ed tech company, but it's more of a, higher ed publisher and technology company called Cengage Learning. Some of you have Cengage Group now, I guess, which some of you may know. So, Chegg and other companies like that, I think every company, as long as they work within the rules and the laws, if it helps students, it's more like how it's used, So if a student is, obtaining materials illegally somehow, I'm not saying this is just Chegg or anything like that, or is Chegg for that matter, but if students are obtaining materials or obtaining answers to cheat or whatever else, then obviously that is not benefiting them if you're there to learn, right? So I guess the question is what purpose are these companies really serving? How are they being utilized? And what are the benefits or non-benefits to students? It's like anything else, but yeah, all I can really say about that at this point. All right, so excellent. Thanks a lot. Of course, very helpful. I'm very glad it's helpful, Shirak. You're very welcome. So Muthu says, any updates on Patreon? I'm glad you said that. So, yes, actually. So I have laid out and created the shell, I guess, the tiers and everything. I've created a Patreon, but it's not live yet. So I want to go back and look at the tiers that I'm offering. I want to make sure that I can deliver on what I say I'm offering on Patreon, because it is a lot, it's a more time intensive thing. I'm going to hopefully maybe adjust some things within the Patreon and then make that live again towards the end of this month, beginning of September when school starts. That's the best time to kind of start those things. And again, it's going to be mainly things like, early access to new videos as I release them. I'm not going to promise when and how many videos I can release because it's not my full-time job. I do my best. But early access to videos I do release. Special videos that I do only for Patreon subscribers or patrons. So videos that are maybe less polished, they're not as fancily edited, there's a lot of topics, there's a lot of videos I'd like to make kind of off the cuff that don't require a whole lot of planning. You know, the videos I make on YouTube require dozens of hours sometimes of planning, research, you know, doing all the PowerPoints, you know, getting those all ready, working through the math, the examples multiple times, of course, editing them and doing all the stuff with YouTube, like descriptions and tags and you know, and thumbnails. And, you know, it takes dozens of hours to get a video ready on YouTube if you want to do it correctly, especially when you're doing it all on your own, like me. A lot of YouTubers that you watch, that are kind of like the bigger channels and everything seems more polished, they have entire teams. Like, there's entire teams behind those. And, you know, I am doing this completely on my own. So I do my best, you know, to make sure I can deliver on Patreon what I actually offer. But yes, I do plan on doing it sometime, hopefully in the next month. All right. Spy Hunter, do you have a video about multivariance, Gaussian distribution plots, and explanations with matrices? No, I do not. Mainly because that is beyond the sort of target market for my channel. So I have tutored and done a lot of multivariate statistics, you know, stuff. But as of right now, I have not gone that deep into a very specialized niche. But thank you for bringing that up. I might, you know, do something a bit more advanced like that. As I said on the stream, you know, before, I really try to make content that benefits the most people per unit of time that I have to work on it. So the content level that I currently put out tends to benefit the most people for the unit of time that I put into it. So that's kind of where you know, it's kind of where I live, you know, in that. So, all right. Read through these things. Let's see. So Trolas, that's a very long 5-part question. I can't get through that on the live stream. So if you can, send me a message maybe on LinkedIn or through my website. I forgot to mention that. If you have a very long question or something that I might be able to get to, if you go to this contact me on my website, this live stream question form, you can put something in there that'll give me more time to read through it and actually maybe provide a better answer. Now, of course, I can't spend hours answering questions like that. So if it's a simple question I can read through and maybe give you some feedback, that's the best place to do that. So, so Trolas, please consider going to my website and putting that in this form so I can actually sit and look at it and not try to do it on a live stream. But that's the best place for that. Okay. All right. Hello, sir. Lots of love and respect. Thank you for making wonderful content. You are very welcome. Thank you. The thanks is all mine. You know, you all put in the time and effort to come to the channel, and you spend your very valuable time watching my content, and those are all minutes you don't really get back. So really, it's a testament to your dedication to put in the work and the time to hopefully, you know, do better in your education, do better in your career. So the thanks really is all mine, because you are giving me and the channel the most valuable thing you have, and that is your time. So thank you. Okay. All right. For Erickson, hello, welcome back. Starting my 3rd stats course in a few weeks. Thank you for inspiring to learn stats. That's excellent. Hey, if what I do can inspire you to learn more beyond the content that I offer, you know, if you want to just keep running with it, you know, after the content on my channel, that's incredible. It's amazing to inspire people to keep learning about it. As an educator, one of the best things you can do is to inspire learners to keep learning and to get some, if they don't have it already, to get some innate curiosity about a topic that they want to just keep digging and exploring. So thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. Any update on making any coding or visualization videos? So not directly or specifically. So I approach the coding aspect and the visualization aspect as tools or as sort of things within maybe another video. So if I'm making a visualization for something, it's part of like a video. If I do bring up R or something like that to solve a problem, it's specifically to solve that problem. I'm not a coder by nature, even though I was learning base. That's how old I am now. I was learning basic back in the 80s on Saturdays. Like I was like 10 years old or somewhere around 10 years old, going to these sort of special classes at the University of Cincinnati and learning coding in basic, but it never really stuck, you know. So I kind of just do the coding stuff when I need it to use it as a tool. I would like to do maybe some more visualization type stuff at some point. I'm also getting into network analysis, so I might do some stuff with Gephi at some point. So I think it's very interesting and it's very pertinent to where we find ourselves, you know, currently in terms of society. So maybe some stuff like that. But Kalshik, it's really just a matter of time. You know, there's only so much I can do. There's so much I'd like to do, but there's only so much I can do. All right. So thank you to you too. You are very welcome, of course. After watching, Muthu says we're watching your video. Everyone feels confident in basic stats. Good. That's what my goal is. Thank you once again. Where should we look for some high level statistics? So depends on how you're going to define high level. So high level statistics can mean going further in like, you know, applied statistics or you know, research type statistics or whatever else. You know, so after my content, you can get into more multivariate statistics. You can get into more regression type applications, applied regression type applications. There's a lot of places to go. You can branch out. So you can branch out into Bayesian statistics. You can branch out into machine learning. You can branch out into, I don't know, I guess network analysis. You might, you know, think about obviously time series, you know. So time series is often covered like in one chapter in the basic stats book. So it covers, you know, basic forecasting techniques, how to measure forecasting accuracy and stuff like that. So you can take a topic and then explore that further. So trust me, as someone who's been, you know, preparing to do more videos on time series and forecasting and things like that, you know, it can get complex extremely quickly. So you can pick a topic and run with that. So it just depends on what you want, you know. So yeah, it just depends on what path you want to go, Muthu. It's you know, it depends on what path you want to go. For more advanced type stuff, you might have more. There's probably stuff on YouTube. So obviously StatQuest. Josh on StatQuest covers a fantastic, obviously fantastic channel. So he covers some more advanced topics beyond maybe what I would do, and you can go there. There are other courses maybe on Udemy or Coursera or whatever else that you might explore for more advanced topics as well. Some of those courses can get into the mathematics of statistics and machine learning, where you're doing a lot of matrix algebra and stuff like that. So depends on where you want to go. There's a lot of paths you can take, you know, but you really need to know where you go first. Because as the saying goes, if you don't know where you're going, then every path there is correct. So pick your path and then decide how to get there. All right. Thank you. You are very welcome. Professor Marshmallow says your line before starting any video that you're very intelligent, you just got stuck, you need to keep patience is very helpful. Good. That's what I want to that's what I want to do. As I've said before, I know that a lot of people, I'm not sure what, proportion, but a lot of people that come to YouTube for educational content are coming to YouTube to learn something because they are stuck either, their professor or whoever's not explaining it very well to them or in a way that they can really understand. Maybe they have a class that's very high stakes and they have to do well in this class to proceed through their program, or they have a lot of math anxiety and are not comfortable with math type stuff in general, or whatever. So they come to YouTube under some level of duress. So I think it's very important as an educator, and I've always thought this as an educator, you cannot really learn unless you are in the proper mental, emotional, psychological, affective state. So it's really important to me to make sure not everyone needs it, but to make sure those who do, take a deep breath, settle down, and say, we got this. Just, let's go. Let's walk the same path together here for the next 20 minutes, and we'll help. You are the lead, but I'll help you along the way. And that's how I sort of have always seen this. So, but I really want people to be in the right mindset that is open to learning. You just have to you have to be there to really learn and hopefully enjoy the process along the way. So yes, but I appreciate that. I don't do that as much in higher level videos or which tend to be my more recent videos. For two reasons. One, people who get to higher level content, probably are good, with the lower level sort of concepts where I think people really are struggling. Also, it's to be 100% honest. If you look at my analytics, there can be a large drop off during that sort of introduction. So I've tried to shorten it when I do it, and make sure it's relevant based on the content that I'm offering the video for. Okay. Abdul asks, hi Brandon, good to see you again. What would be the roadmap to data science field for those who have no prior knowledge in statistics? Well, of course, I would say thank you for your question. I would say the first place to start is get a basic prior knowledge in statistics. So obviously I can help you with that. And other people can too, of course. But getting that basic sort of knowledge of statistics, I think, data science can be a broad term. It's kind of like a catch-all term to mean a lot of things. So beyond that, I think it would really depend on where you want to go within the data science field. So obviously, if you do not have some coding skills, that would be a place to go, whether it's R and or Python, depending on what field you might go into. If you want to get into more of the math side of things, understanding linear algebra, matrix algebra is very important. So much of everything behind the scenes is matrices. So if you have some fundamental understanding of matrix algebra and matrix operations, can really help. And then maybe some visualization, content would help too. So that kind of covers, the basic sort of stats. It kind of covers one base. The coding kind of covers another base. The matrix and linear algebra kind of covers a third, and then visualization. And I would put maybe soft skills in there too. I think soft skills are very important. It's underrated. Being able to talk with your colleagues and stakeholders and present information in a way that they can really digest and understand, and present information to those people that is actionable. Those sort of soft skills are extremely valuable too. So, I like to learn everything. That's what I do. I just learn stuff. So just pick kind of the path you want to go. And you can also talk to people. If you have an endpoint in mind, Abdul, about what kind of job you want to be in, what kind of area you want to be an expert in time, reach out to people in that same field. Reach out to people that are in that job and ask them, kind of reverse engineer, kind of what they did. And you take all sources of information, kind of temporarily and contingently, and you take it all in, and then you work it out in your mind about how you want to use it. So that's another strategy you can do as far as finding your roadmap. But sometimes you need to start with the end in mind. And I think for a lot of these questions, the one I had up before, having an idea of the end in mind is very important to know how to get from here to there. So I'd really think about, that sort of question. And keep in mind, Abdul, that we are all in a fast changing field. So everything changes so rapidly in data science, statistics, and ML and all kinds of stuff. Everything changes so fast that you have to make continuous learning part of the plan. Just have to, always have to be learning something new as it changes so fast, and make that as part of your strategy as well. Okay. Kausic asks, how can we approach more real life problems in statistics? So You can start, if you're learning material, you could start Kalshik with a text that um, actually has statistics within a field. So, make me die for books. So this is the one I can reach. Disclaimer is that I actually work on this book in real life. It's my day job is working on this book. So something like this. This is one of the books I work on. So it's statistics, but it's in the context of the field of business and economics. So the problems and importantly the cases are designed from a business and economics perspective. So that's one place you could start. Is instead of learning maybe just gen stats, what we call general statistics, pick up a text or some other piece of material that is statistics within the context of a business, or other field. Like I have a psychological statistics book over there that's more like social science focused. I used to have a biostat book somewhere, but yeah, all those are all statistics books, but they're within a field. So that can make it more real life and more maybe applicable to whatever it is you want to do. Obviously, read cases. So you can find case books online or on Amazon or whatever else that talk through how a company or some other entity worked through a problem, a real life problem, using statistics as a tool to solve that problem. You can find case books. On LinkedIn, you can find news and articles and groups that talk about these sorts of things. So and obviously in your own work, if you have it, you can look at it that way too. So lots of ways to approach looking at learning these things through in a real life context, which I do think is important. It makes it more fun to learn, in my opinion. It's more like practical. It's like, why am I learning this? Oh, well, yeah, I'm learning this stuff because here's how it's applied in a business context or a finance context or a healthcare context or whatever else. So it actually makes it stick a little bit better and makes it more relevant to whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. All right. So what else we got here? With this, thanks so much. You are very, very welcome. Very, very welcome. Yeah, the starting lines of the video makes us feel comfortable. Good. That's sort of that's the goal of them, is to put you put the viewer in the right mental space to be open to learning. It's really, really hard to learn something if you're frazzled, if you are, feeling anxious, because then you're in fight or flight mode, and in a biological sense, fight or flight is a good way to learn, like, how to survive, like our, 60,000 years ago, our ancestors, how they kind of survived. But nowadays, when we're learning, education content as we do now, having that fight or flight cortisol going in your body is just not, it's not a good way to learn. So I try to just make sure everyone is comfortable before we start. Okay. All right, let me go back through the chat here and see what else, if I have missed anything. Yep, so feel free to put your comments, questions, stuff in the chat, and we'll see how much further we want to go. Just making sure I get everything here. Let's see here. Got that, got that. Got that. I think we're good. I think we're good. So I'll go for a few more minutes, and if you have comments or questions, whatever in the chat, I'll address those. But if not, we'll wrap up the chat here in a few minutes. So I'll keep an eye on the chat for anything that new pops up. Yeah, so let's say here's another one. So Abdul's asked, as you said, everything in this world is changing so fast that active practitioner in the field is required to teach the relevant subjects. That's right. That's true too. That's true too. It's a double-edged sword, right? As someone who works in these fields, you yourself have to learn these things, and then sometimes you have to turn around and then teach the relevant subject, in real time, in a contemporary type time frame. So actually, I deal with that all the time in my day job. It's we work with a lot of colleges and universities and professors and stuff all around the United States and the globe, for that matter. And I would say in general, even like higher education institutions and other institutions have a hard time keeping up with the speed at which the content and the tools develop in data science, statistics, machine learning, and stuff like that. So by the time they put together a syllabus and then teach a class, like something has changed, or maybe more than something has changed. So it's a challenge. So everyone always has to keep up, has to keep sort of on the cutting edge of where everything is at to make sure they are always current. And of course, if you're teaching, then you have to turn around and somehow, teach that to students. So luckily, a lot of the content I've created, and this is on purpose, by the way, a lot of the content I create on YouTube is evergreen content. So it's content that content that stands the test of time. So statistics has been around for 100 years, right? In general. So statistics had very dark beginnings. Basically all the first statisticians were into eugenics. After, once biological evolution came about and was studied by Darwin and others, it was misapplied in statistics. So that's another topic of discussion we can talk about when we have our guests on the 24th of September. But where was I going with this thought? Oh, but the content I try to teach on YouTube is evergreen that can be applicable over a long period of time. So a confidence interval, the basics of regression, all that kind of stuff is timeless, basically. And everything else is built on top of that. So I try to keep my content as evergreen as possible. Look, as I've gone into YouTube and to learn things myself, to do research for videos and content, I will open up a video that was made like a year or two, or maybe 3 years ago, already out of date, completely out of date. Either something different has come along, a different like R package has come along that does it better, a different tool's come along that does it better, and it's already out of date. So I try to stick to stuff that is evergreen, that is sort of fundamental to everything else. And that way people can get the most use out of it over long periods of time. That's kind of how I view some of my content. It's also why that's also why I don't do a whole lot of like coding type stuff, because the chance that it will be obsolete within like 2 years is like 50-50, maybe even, higher. So I try to stick to concepts that are fundamental to everything else. And they stand the test of time, All right. Professor Marshmallow, ever thought that a person of knowledge like you would sit and answer questions of everyone like this? Well, hey, it's the reverse. For me, Professor Marshmallow, I appreciate that comment, but I never thought that people would sit and listen to me talk about crap like this beyond the videos I release. But I started doing the live streams about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, to make myself more available to my viewers without making it a huge time commitment on either side of the equation. And this just sort of lets people know that, yes, I am a real person. I do get up every day and go to work work from home now. But, I'm a person. I'm not just some disembodied voice that's out there. Plus, I don't put myself in my videos because I think, over presenting one's self can be distracting. The videos are not about me. The videos are about you. The video is about the content and the learning. And like I said before on this live stream and in others, I'm not looking to be a celebrity. I'm not looking to be a personality. I hate cults of personality. But I do the live streams just so I can be available and answer whatever questions I have. So I'm glad that you find that helpful. I can't always answer every question, in real time, but I do the best I can. So thank you. Walson, hope I'm saying that correctly. So grateful for your playlist of Stat 101. Thanks from across all oceans. You are very, very welcome. I'm glad that you find them very helpful across all oceans. And I hope to travel across oceans here sometime soon to go to some of the places that you all are. Muthu asks, where you look for to update yourself, like blogs, books, etc. What's your go-to place? All the above. All the above. So right now, I'm not kidding. I am currently reading 1, 2, 3 books simultaneously. I'm reading 3 books simultaneously. So I'll read one for a little while, then I'll switch to the other one, then I'll switch to the third one. Then I'll come back to the first one, go to the second one, then the third one. Go back to the first one, second, and the third. So I'm always reading several books in parallel. I do that because what I'm reading, and they're usually around the same topic from a different perspective. It's like it creates dimensions. So I read book A, book B talks about basically the same content, but in like a slightly different way. And book C does the same thing. So I'm getting this multi-dimensional presentation of content, and I read them in parallel. And then what I find is that fires off all kinds of thoughts and convergences in my brain, and it really helps me learn to have multiple things going on at once. Excuse me. It's probably loud on your end. I mean to punch the microphone. But that's kind of how I approach learning new stuff as far as reading goes. Sometimes I'll listen to podcasts. Sometimes I'll do audiobooks, depending on the content. I'm doing a really cool, it used to be Great Courses. Now it's Wondrium, but Great Courses course on physics, like the entire sort of history of how we know what we know in physics, which of course has some math explanations in it. My true love is really science, to be quite honest with you. So I do that kind of stuff. Obviously, I watch YouTube videos. So, if I'm learning something new, like now I'm doing a lot of research and note taking and stuff on the forecasting content I'm making. So I'll watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'll go along and practice with them. Then of course I will do my own sort of stuff. I'll do courses on Udemy sometimes if I find something on there that's sort of relevant. So it just depends. I don't think, getting information from just one sort of source or one medium, at least for me personally, is not the ideal way. I tend to do multiple things at the same time. And what happens, at least in my brain, is that what I learn or what I end up learning is greater than the sum of the parts, right? So more sticks. I see it in more dimensions. It's more applicable. So if I'm going to update my knowledge, it will be through a variety of sources. But I am a very, very avid reader. I read a ton, not just about statistics or machine learning or time series forecasting, but I also read about history. I also read about current events. I read about some of the other things I've read recently. I finished the audiobook Sapiens. I find that kind of stuff interesting. So I just, I don't know. I just go wherever it leads me. And that's one thing I will say is that I've developed an intuitive trust that my interests and desire to learn things will lead me where I need to go. Like, I kind of trust the momentum of where my mind and where my interests are telling me I should go next. I let it lead me. It's not like a thing. It's just like, you probably know what I'm saying. There's like this thing that's pulling me in certain directions, and I've grown as I've gotten older. As I've gotten older, I've learned to trust that, So, all right. So yeah, my learning process is very, I don't want to say it's unique, but it's just, to me, learning is who I am. There's no separation there. It's not something I do. It is who I literally am. So it's sometimes hard to describe, but I did the best I could. So, all right. Abdul, thank you so much. It's been third time I'm here consecutive listening to you. Excellent. The textbook suggestions by you really help a lot. Absolutely, they do. So a lot of the textbooks, like I said, this book I work on in my day job, but like I said, but I mentioned before in another live streams that that book I was using as a tutor years and years and years before I ever knew the company that made the book existed. Because I found this book, the way it's written, the way the concepts are explained, the way the examples are presented, it's so clear. The clarity is amazing. And if you're using a book to teach from, especially, that's what you really, at least what I want. So that's how I select, the things that I read and spend time on. And there are books that I'll get a sample, like on my Kindle, on my iPad. I'll read through the first chapter or whatever the sample they give you. I'm like, no, this isn't really for me. It's not being presented in a way that I find helpful. So I won't get the book. I'll read the sample, but I won't actually buy the book. So if you live like near a used bookstore, I have by my house, there's a Half Price Books up the street that's really close to the Starbucks I go to and stuff. There's a Half Price Books. Sometimes I'll go in there and just kind of thumb through the books, and hold them and read them and kind of sit and might find one I like, or might find an author I like. Maybe not that particular book, but I'll find an author that I like, and I'll kind of jot that down, take a picture of the cover or whatever else with my phone. And then I can go back and find other things they may have written about topics that are more applicable to what I want to learn at that stage, right? So that's one way I find stuff that it's very helpful. Of course, there are recommendations on LinkedIn you might find and stuff like that. If anyone is recommending something to you, just kind of keep in mind whether or not they are being promoted to recommend those sort of things. Like if I'm ever sponsored or anything like that, I will tell you that I'm being promoted. But however, I will not promote anything on my channel that I have not used or would not use myself, or I don't know who they are, or I don't think would benefit you. So whenever you get recommendations for certain things, just be mindful of who's doing the recommending and why they are. So, all right. Actually new to your channel, waiting for the next live to say you're awesome. So thank you so much. Well, you are awesome. You're awesomer. I appreciate that. Okay. So we are about at an hour. So I think I want to do is wrap this up. So just to reiterate, just the kind of final thoughts here. New videos coming out probably at the end of this month, beginning of September on time series. I'm going to start at the very beginning. Like I'm going to assume that the viewer knows nothing about time series. So it's going to start out at the very, very basic level. We'll see how complicated we go over time. But that's where we're going to start. So my goal is like for, I don't know, a 6th grader could maybe learn the basics of time series. That's where we're going to start. And then we're going to go from there. So they will have a certain look to them. So they will look something along these lines. If you see something on my channel with this green sort of outline, looks like this, that is some new time series content. So that is that. Also, keep in mind that on September 24th, I will have guests on from statistics.com and the authors of some of these books. So these authors are going to be on the channel on September 24th. We're going to do some giveaways. We'll probably give away a book or two, maybe some swag, stuff like that. You can ask them questions, of course. It's not just me talking to them and them talking. So it's going to be on the 24th. And then hopefully the next few weeks I might launch the Patreon. So I will let everyone know on the live stream and on YouTube, stories, and on LinkedIn if I decide to go ahead and pull the trigger on that. So, all right. Well, it's been great talking to all of you all here on Saturday Chat Live, and hope I answered your questions the best I can. And until next time, which will be in 2 weeks. So we're talking August 20th, unless anything comes up, that will be our next live stream. Just look for the post on YouTube and LinkedIn when the next one will be. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day and are safe and happy and healthy. And as always, keep on learning. Never stop. And I will see you again soon. Take care and bye-bye.